Hello, everyone. Welcome to an interesting and exciting episode of Stellaris. It's been a very, very long time, since I played some Stellaris, especially recorded it. And so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna reinvest myself in the Stellaris, adventures, and I reinvest myself in learning the game again. I kind of dabbled a little bit here and there in the game, and but I never really got so much into doing a full campaign. So here I am, getting back into the game Stellaris. I haven't done recording of a game of Stellaris in years. If you look back in my my YouTube history, that would be like at least 6 or so years. So, yep, here we are, Stellaris. I've created a race here. I've got to create a couple races, but the race here that I'm playing right now is the Holy Kassi Imperium. Now, I have a couple different versions of them, because I was trying to kind of figure out what kind of build this is going to be. What There's so much to creating a race, and there's so many options you have, and I was trying to build the best one. And I might come back to them with a different version of them. But right now I've got this one. So these are the Holy Kassi Imperium. Let's go into some details about the species and my idea of how this empire is going to be and what their culture is going to be like. I decided it was going to have a storyline going with it, a little bit of role playing, a little bit of just getting into the mindset of this culture of these people. So they are, of course, a feline species. Kassa Gar is their home planet. It's a tropical world. So many different options to make. I decided I was going to have them be subterranean. This is a very, very beautiful tree-covered world and forest world, and with some oceans, obviously. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make it. They have such a great respect for their nature that they decided instead of tearing down trees, they're going to just tunnel, and they're going to just create a tunnel society of just being underground. They do have some buildings, they do have some structures above ground, but for the most part, most of their society is subterranean. Now, it didn't just start with the respect for nature. It also started because as they developed, they were on a very dangerous world. A lot of predators, a lot of stuff, that led to them being more, cautious about being, above the ground. There was some kind of their version of dinosaurs that roamed the earth along with them. And so they had to be very careful about where they were, about bigger predators than them. And so just earlier in their development, they had caves, and they built encavements, and they dug, and they created structures that weren't on the surface so that they can hide and that they can go out and hunt and forage and then come back. And so they're predators. They're very aggressive. But eventually, over time, they evolved into smarter culture, smarter people, and they hunted and they improved themselves and they dominated everything and everyone on the surface of that planet. So they went from being, just prey to being the apex predator. So that just comes with, development. So they're a subterranean species, and they keep that going, and there are some great benefits of being subterranean, and we're going to get into that. Let's look into it. So subterranean, this civilization may never know why their ancestors migrated below the surface. I just explained why they did. Was it necessary to ensure self-preservation? Yes. Or did the promise of beautiful resources allure them? Yes. Whatever the case, they successfully adapted, leading to a more environmentally versatile community. Right. So one of the species traits is cave dweller. We're going to get into that as I go over the area. But one of the great benefits of being a subterranean culture is mining districts. And that's going to be a great help. One thing about these this game, and when you're going to a planet, is that you have certain districts, and when you find a planet, it has like let's say a planet that has let's say 17 size planet, pretty much means that it has 17 districts, and they're like you have like your food districts, like your agricultural districts, you have your mining districts, you have like your energy districts, and then you can do like in the development industrial stuff, you can do like your own like cities. Mining districts, spectacular, but with those, depending on the planet you go to, there's only so many mining districts you can do. There's only so many, farms you can do. By doing subterranean, it's no longer capped. So you can go to any planet and make it a mining planet, which is going to be awesome, 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 awesome. I can make every single planet I come across if I want to. I can make it a mining planet. I can just go wholeheartedly into their culture, which they're a mining guild, and then they're going to see that in one of the civics. I'm going to go into that, but it's great to be able to have constant resources of being subterranean. Cool. And now there are some great modifiers. For instance, orbital bombardment damage is minus 75%, because orbital bombardment is supposed to be destroying surface structures, but when they're underground, they're a little bit more fortified, so they have that protection there. Building and district costs do cost more, so that's one of the deficits of this. I'm gonna be collecting a lot more resources as far as minerals, but it's gonna cost more to build. So buildings and district costs are gonna be more. Building and district upkeep is going to be more, so it's going to cost a little bit more as far as maybe like energy or other resources. So we're going to see about that, but we're going to change that later on. With different bonuses from different leaders, we can compensate for that, and other technology is going to help us with compensating for this. Planetary build speeds is 10%, minus 10%, so it's going to cost a little bit more time to build on the planet's surface. Planetary cosmic storm devastation reduction, minus 25%, which totally makes sense because, we've got a cosmic storm, we're a little bit underground, so we're not as affected as, us going on the surface, so that's going to be helpful for that too. Housing from mining districts +2, that is great, because yes, I'm going to have a lot more housing, so as I expand on my mining districts unlimited, it's going to be extra 2 to my housing, which is wonderful. So now it's going to be, instead of having 2 housing and 2 miners, miner jobs, is going to be 4 housing and 2 miner jobs, and that is really good. That is really good. I'm really excited about that, for just having more housing and building slots from mining districts +0.34. Before, you didn't get any building slots from mining districts, but because I'm also increasing housing, if I have 3 mining districts, that's going to allow me 1 building, but also those 3 mining districts are going to give me like 6 housing. So it's great for developing my planet now. I don't have to be so focused on increasing housing with the city districts, because I don't need city districts anymore. I don't need city districts anymore. I can just focus on mining districts, and I can increase my housing that way. I will probably have a few still for the purpose of getting more building slots open, but I can definitely go hardcore into mining districts, and if I find a planet that happens to be like a size 20. I could probably invest, say, 12 districts in that, and then put the rest into energy, and I'm going to go into that further in detail. Cave Dweller. Species minimum habitability is +50%, which means I can use a lot of planets. I'm going to be able to settle and colonize more planets without penalty. So this is going to be great. As I start to explore, we're going to find a planet. We're going to be able to scan it, survey it, and we have a lot more opportunities now to colonize more planets with that plus 50% to minimum habitability. You know, so that's going to be a major improvement. Here we go. Here, one of the bonuses: minerals from jobs plus 15%. That's going to be great in combination with mining guilds, because mining guilds give me a +1 to minerals. I also have Industrious, which gives me plus 15%. So it's going to be 15%, 30% overall with these two combined, plus the mining guilds gives me +1 minerals. So it's going to be a bonus of like 1.3 right now for minerals, plus whatever else we get from the other guys. Let's see. So Cave Dweller does have some negatives. Empire size from Pops is plus 10%. Which is that can hurt. That can definitely hurt. I am gonna try to do some technologies and some an ascension perks that's going to help me with compensating for the empire size, deficit right there. Also, biological pop growth speed is slower, mostly because we're subterranean. I suppose that's what it is. Just we just don't breed as often, but I am going to try to aggressively resolve that issue too, because one of the main and difficult issues with Stellaris is getting pops. You need pops. Pops are very important. Pops are a great resource. So I'm going to be heavy on resources as far as minerals, but I'm going to have to really work to get more pops, and that's why we're going to be a little bit more aggressive of the species, because we're going to have to grab some people and put them to work, if you know what I mean. We're going to focus on developing our food too, so we can increase our growth speed with food bonuses from creating more food. Natural engineers, so we have engineering research bonus of plus 15%. We're also stronger with the strong here, so it's going to be plus 20% to army damage. Worker pop resource output is going to be 2.5%, which is great because that's just another bonus to our already bonused mining. So as far as our resource output, minerals, this is another bonus for that, as well as the other resources like energy and food, and we go there. We're warrior culture, so we're very aggressive, very content on. We're kind of like furry Klingons in a sense. We're a warrior species, and so fighting is our life. That's why the entertainer jobs are replaced with duelist jobs. Duelists turn alloys into unity, amenities, and naval capacity. So that's going to be great for us there. So I usually like to have a little hollow battleground on each planet, so that they have some place to go to and cheer as people are fighting and dueling and having their feats of bravery and challenge. And let's see, this also increases our army damage. So we got two things. We got strong is plus 20% to army damage, and warrior culture plus 20% to armor damage. So we're going to be looking at 40% bonus to army damage with the species, which is going to be spectacular for engaging in our warring ways. We are going to be very aggressive. I don't normally play as an aggressive person, but I'm working on it. I definitely have to with this one, but I'm usually more defense focused, so I'm going to be building up our defenses, but building up the defenses until we have the resources and we have the people and we have the ships to amass an army and amass a fleet worthy of invasion. So I'm going to be heavy on defense as far as star bases and stuff like that, but then I'm going to build my armies, and I'm going to be ready, and my guys are going to be fierce warriors with great improved damage for our campaign. War exhaustion gain is negative 10% because we're warrior culture, which is important. Mercenary enclave capacity is +1. That bit of information right there, I've never actually used a mercenary enclave before because I recently got all these expansions in a bundle for Astral Planes, Galactic Paragons, all this stuff here. So a lot of these expansions I haven't actually played before, like Apocalypse, never played that. Let's see, I did play Utopia and Synthetic Dawn. Some of these I already had before, but there are some I didn't play before, like Distant Stars, that's new to me. Let's see, Ancient Relics, that's new to me. There's a lot of stuff here, like a lot of these expansions I never purchased, including Nemesis. There's a lot of stuff I'd never played before because there was quite a long time period where I just wasn't playing Stellaris and I wasn't getting the expansions. So this is going to be a very eye-opening experience for me as I see and experience all these new things in the game. But anyway, continuing on, part of the mint being a mining guild is that we get, everyone over that. We also get a chairman of mines, so he's going to increase our stability as we have more miners. So it's going to be an empire effect. So the more miners we have, just the better off we're going to be as far as the species, right? Because it's going to be increasing stability bit and bit and bit. More miners means more stability, which means we're happier as a culture, happier as a people, happier as an empire. And if we decide we wanted to hire free labor, then having them as miners and building up our empire with very big planets that just almost like 80% miners, so mining districts, because of the subterranean, it'll reduce the instability caused by having people work for you that aren't exactly willingly work for you. Also, with the warrior culture, we have the effect of output of duelists plus 10%, which is going to be great. Alright, now Xenophobes, they get minus 20% to star-based influence costs and plus 10% growth speed, which is going to be great for us because of the deficit we're getting from being cave dwellers. So that kind of somewhat helps with balancing out our growth speed deficit. So instead of being negative 20%, with this bonus from being Xenophobes, we now have plus 10%, so it's going to be minus 10% overall. I am going to have us build robots. I know we're a holy Kassi Imperium, we're spiritualists. Spiritualists are usually very much against AI, and it's going to be no full AI rights. We're not going to really go into artificial intelligence, but what we are going to do is 100% have robotic workers, so that they can do some mining for us, our mining boys, or even just focus on being our farmer boys, or so we're going to have them being our workers for us. We may focus on the mining, we just might have them focus on the power plants and focus on being farmers, but that's going to very much help having robots. Monthly unity is plus 10%. I love focusing on unity, and so we're going to have churches because we're spiritualists, so we're going to have temples. I like to have temples. I like to boost our unity, so maybe I'll make it like they are a very spiritual culture. They're very spiritual people, and they're likely going to have maybe 2 temples for every planet. And we are going to find a planet that's the smaller planets. I'm going to try to have that planet have be full of temples. There's going to be one planet that's going to be like a holy planet. It's going to be full and full of temples. It's going to be like a very holy place for people to go to just be in touch with the furry father that is the great cat in the sky. And of course, Militarist, one little thing here. It's minus 10% to claim influence costs, 10% boost to ship fire rates. I've gone through all the stuff here, and like I said here, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. I customized these guys. There was a different route I was gonna take. I was gonna have them be Ascensionists, which will increase the. When you're an Ascensionist, you get 2 Ascension perks at the start of the game. And I usually like to go heavy on ascensions because you get all these extra really cool bonuses, and it really kind of pushes you ahead, especially with bumping up your research. I usually make my research bonuses like the first thing as far as technology. I like to invest in that early in the game with ascension perks. This isn't going to be the exact same kind of run as that, as how I normally play when I decide to kind of dabble in it. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all goes through. But the Kassi, I'm just going to pop in here in the edit section very quickly, just so we can see some more details. Appearance, obviously, cat. Species name is Kassir, or the adjective is Kassi. Nameless, they are, the citizens one character Nog, daughter of Vilk. That's kind of how they are. I got all the traits there. We've already gone over the traits. City appearance, I already confirmed. This is going to be, they're subterraneans, so they have like these buildings underground, these cities. They're like pretty nice looking there. And they're on a forest tropical planet. Origin, already got that covered. Ethics, we already got that covered with them being, they're a martial empire. I didn't actually go into that. So they have one ruler, an imperial heir, a holy ruler who pretty much he rules until he dies. And then after he dies, then his heir takes over. So this is going to improve the resources for our jobs, plus 10%. On the capital system. Empire effects is -1 to our leader pool size, which I'm not really that worried about because leader pool size has never been a worry for me. Because we're going to try to make the leaders live for a long time, and that's not going to be a real big thing for us once we go into the genetics story. We're gonna try to focus on genetics improvements to make ourselves the perfect species. So we're gonna be doing some adjusting there to that. Max influence from power projection, so it's going to be plus 0.25 for max influence from power projection. So that's as we build up our military forces, our power projection is going to increase, and also when our economy improves, because that's going to increase. As far as the economy, we're going to try our very best to be the greatest source of minerals in the galaxy. We're going to be heavy on mining. Then we're going to go from being heavy on mining to alloys, and have forage planets where we take all those minerals and put them to work on alloys, and then we're going to just have fleets and fleets and fleets of ships from this heavy mineral production. So I'm going to be trying to build them up as much as I possibly can to be this factory, this industrial society that's focused on manufacturing, and it's going to help us with building robots and building these planets that's dedicated to that particular focus. We are again a mining guild, but we are an industrial people. Let's see here. For our voice, we're militarists.
It is a good day to die.
It's a good day to die. Very Klingon. Empire name, the Holy Kassi Imperium. We got our flag right here with the claw and the green because we're all tropical people. The flag is like this domination thing there. That's that. Ship appearance is this guy right here. We got this little Corvette here. Got a couple different options there. I chose the Imperial ship designs. This is my first time utilizing these, since this is the first time I'm using this expand, these the DLCs. And there were some newer ships here, cruisers. I do like some few other designs, and we're gonna kind of, as if I decide to really get into this, maybe I'll have another campaign with a different species. We'll just see how this goes. I know I'm kind of all over the place with all the different things I'm playing here, but I just I like to try things out. Instead of playing the same game all the time, I thought I would just kind of play some of the other games that I've owned that I haven't really touched very often. I'm gonna enjoy using a Titan. I'm gonna enjoy using a using a citadel and using a colossus and a juggernaut. The colossus can be used to destroy an entire planet, I believe. So, yeah. And there we go. So this is all gonna be beautiful. Anyway, we are ready to go. And this is just introduction. My major official, the first king, his trait is mining rush, which is going to give us plus 2.5% to minerals from jobs. So it's going to be another boost to minerals at the very start of the game. So we're again, like, we're going heavy in the minerals in the story there. So I should never be short on minerals with this run. I'm probably gonna be at the start when I'm trying to like push and produce, but I'm gonna have my science ships going out there exploring. I'm gonna have my construction ships building mining stations all over the place. It's a good time to be a Kassi. Alright, I'll see you soon. Moving on to starting the game.